Okay, so it's been about like 3 hours since I put the menstrual cup in. Interestingly, for a while I completely forgot that there was a menstrual cup inside me. For a while I forgot that I'm on my periods. I'm not kidding, guys. When I went to the bathroom and I realized that there's a panty liner on, and I was like, oh, I'm supposed to give an update. Like seriously, it is that comfortable. There has been no leakage whatsoever, so that is another big plus. Alright, so it's been 2 hours since my last update, still no leakage. This thing is insanely comfortable. I fell off to sleep, I woke up, I've been doing things around the house, there's been no leakage and I don't feel any discomfort. You can practically forget that you're on your periods, once you actually use a menstrual cup, so I think that's really nice. Just one thing I wanted to share with you all. Some of you might be wondering that, Prachi, why are you even using a menstrual cup? We have tampons, we have sanitary pads, use that, use whatever is comfortable. So guys, here's the thing, okay? Number one, menstrual cups are extremely cost effective. One menstrual cup like the one that I just showed you, that one costs rupees 9.99 and you can easily use it for like 10 years. Just imagine. So compare that with the cost of your sanitary napkins or your tampons and you're saving a lot of money. Number two, menstrual cups are extremely environmental friendly. So I have been feeling very guilty like ever since I heard this. Do you know, let me tell you also, like in case you guys don't know, any sanitary pad that you have ever used, the sanitary pads that you have used in your life, they all are still there on this planet. They are still there. Just imagine how sick, how disgusting and how wrong that is. These things don't biodegrade very quickly, very easily, and the amount of mess we are causing. So I think it's important to step up and say, okay, we will do what we can to save the environment, and menstrual cup is a very good option. Now first let me tell you about tampons. We all know about toxic shock syndrome. If you don't remove your tampon every 7 to 8 hours, it can actually cause a toxic shock in your body, which can even lead to death. It has happened and it's a very well-known problem of tampons. Number two, tampons actually mess up with the pH balance of your vagina, which is not healthy. And as for sanitary pads, they shift around, sometimes they cause leakage and they can be very uncomfortable sometimes, right? Plus you're constantly like asking your best friend to check, yaar, dekhna piche se, like is there any stain? I'm sure all girls do that all the time. Not all the time, but every once in a while, you're worried about the stain and all of that. So with menstrual cup, those problems are solved. Also, it doesn't get all smelly and everything, because when the period blood is exposed to the air, like especially in case of sanitary pads, you can smell it. You can smell it yourself. People around you might be able to smell it, especially if you have a very heavy flow. So menstrual cup is actually a very good option that way. Gynecologists very highly recommend it. They say that you should actually switch to menstrual cups because they are very healthy, very natural for your body, because the period blood stays in the vagina, right? It stays inside your body where it's supposed to be staying, and then you take it out, you clean it up, and then you put it back in. So yeah, that's just a little yarn that I wanted to share about menstrual cups. Having said that, I will keep the menstrual cup in for about 1.5 hours more, and let's see how taking it out is. Is it very difficult? Is it like, I don't know if I'll be able to find it easy or not. But so far, yes, I like it. I actually do. Time for the moment of truth. I'm just gonna go in and try and remove that menstrual cup. I don't know where it is lost, where it is. I can't even feel it anymore. Just wish me luck, guys. I did it, guys. I freaking did it. I took out the menstrual cup, and believe it or not, it was actually very easy. Like I was getting really worried, right? But it was very, very easy. So first of all, logic. Didn't even think it through. So once the blood actually starts accumulating in the menstrual cup, right, because of the weight, it started coming down. It wasn't coming out, obviously it can't come out like that, but it was coming down slowly. So I just had to sit down in a squatting position. It worked really well for me to do that. I just sat down in a squatting position and I just went up a little bit. I didn't have to go up a lot. And you just like pinch it and then you just pull it out. That's all. It was very easy. And I'm so happy to see this, guys. I actually like the menstrual cup, and I'm officially somebody now who can say that periods will never be the same again for me. It was so damn comfortable. I think I've never had such a clean, comfortable period ever before.
I hate tampons. I really hate the leaking of it. I hate having something soaking up the blood and staying within me. I just hate them overall. Like, tampons are horrible things.
So I'm about to buy
a menstrual cup. I'm finally doing it because I'm gonna get my period within like the next 5 days. It's literally the same day that I just filmed the previous clip. I just started my period, like, oh my god, I'm actually really scared. It's going inside. This is uncomfortable. Oh my god. Nowadays, there are so many products because of everyone being so environmentally conscious. I have not used a tampon in a year, but I gotta say I did use it here and there. I really do mean, like, I probably got my period and I didn't have my menstrual cup with me and I had to use a tampon. So I've probably used 2 tampons within a year. Yeah. I asked you guys on Instagram to send me questions specifically about the menstrual cup and any questions that you guys had that maybe I could answer throughout my year of experience. And I just want to make it easier for you guys because this has made my life easier, which is why I waited so long to make an updated video, because I wanted to actually gather a lot of experience and information. A day do you empty it? I remember reading that you weren't supposed to keep these things in for more than 12 hours. I'm not kidding when I say that I change my menstrual cup twice a day. When I wake up at like 7 and then I come home at 7 p.m., empty it there, wash it out, put it back in, wake up at 7 a.m., take it out. So I would say every 12 hours, so that's twice a day. Apart from using a tampon, which is every 3 to 4 hours, if you're lucky. When inserting it, does it ever feel dry? That's a really good question. I usually wet my menstrual cup, like just wash it out before inserting it, so it is already kind of wet, which helps. It doesn't feel too dry to where it hurts. It's always just lubricated enough, either by the water or my own lubricants. Can you pee with it, or do you have to take it out? This scares me because it makes me think that a lot of people still think that the vagina and the pee hole are one hole. The menstrual cup is occupying the vagina hole, which means the pee hole is very much free, and yes, I can pee with it. I'd never have a problem peeing. Is it easy to leak using it? It is easy to leak. It's just one small error that you like put it in and maybe it's like this the whole time. When you insert it, you don't just insert it and boom, you wanna wait till you're all the way in and there's still a little bit of air, and then it like locks in, and then you just twist it a little bit and then you like feel it around in here. I wish I had like a vagina example. Do you have a heavy or light period? I have a heavy period the first day or two, and then after that it's normal, average I would say, and then it gets really light. I probably wear the menstrual cup up to 5 days and then I just use the liners, because sometimes it like only fills up to like this third line, and then I'm like, dude, that's like, I don't want to keep inserting and taking this out when it's only that little. I have had this all the way filled up sometimes and it's insane. When you take it out, does or can blood spill? I'm scared of that happening. Yeah, like of course. You take it out while you're sitting on the toilet, like after you pee or whatever, immediately you just pour it out and then you're usually like bloody. I don't know what to tell people when they're like, well, you're touching your blood and you're inside of you, and it's like, yeah, like that's the beauty of it. I love that I'm so like in touch with my own body, that I am covered in my own menstrual blood. That's fucking sick, like in a cool way. Is it dangerous if I use it for 1 period straight without cleaning? Just thinking about traveling. I guess what you could do is just like wipe it out with toilet paper. That's like the closest thing, because sometimes I really just do wash it out. I don't use soap every single time that I wash it out. At times I have just wiped it out and then just insert it again, and it works. I wouldn't say keeping it all the way straight like that whole week of your period, if that's what you're asking, but I don't think that's what you're asking. As long as you wash it out with water, water is actually the cleanest thing to clean out your vagina. Now, this is a good question that I want to address. Somebody said, I want to try it, but I'm embarrassed to clean it out in public. For example, a restaurant. A lot of women bring this up to me and they're like, where am I gonna change it? I get really aggressive with these things. When people ask this question, I'm just like, yo, I actually never, ever, 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 never have to change it out in public. I go home and I am home at least once a day, and that is when I change my menstrual cup. The only time I would say you would have to change it out in public is if you're really that full, like your menstrual cup is that full and you are leaking that much, but that just means you timed it wrong, because your menstrual cup should last you 12 hours or even more. Again, personal experience, I time it to work for me to where I never have to change my menstrual cup at work, at a restaurant, out with friends, at a friend's house, anywhere other than my own restroom. I guess that's like, I get why people would not understand that, because they're thinking tampons and they're thinking I have to change my tampon every 3 to 4 hours. So how do I do that with a menstrual cup? The beauty of a menstrual cup is that you don't have to change it so much, because a tampon only absorbs 2-3 hours worth of blood. Whereas a menstrual cup, it's not absorbing anything, it's just keeping it in here. This is enough for 12 hours. So I think just time it out to the best of your ability to where you don't have to ever change it in a public restroom. And even if you do, that's okay. Because listen to me, I and you and everyone, women need to be more comfortable with their period, okay? And that's just the way it is. Doesn't it get slippery while taking it out? I've definitely experienced that, where my menstrual cup, I think, has like fallen in the toilet. I don't know if it was when I was taking it out or inserting it. It's not that slippery. You use like about 3 fingers to take it out, so, and then yeah, but the blood is like very slippery. So yeah, I guess it would be slippery, but not to where it's like you're in a freaking slip and slide and like about to it just pops out of your hand. How the f does it work and feel? It works great and it feels like nothing. Is it hard to walk with? Absolutely not, unless I have inserted it wrong and that's how I know, and I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel right. Sometimes I do open it up way too soon and to where it's like too close to the surface, and that's when, you know, it's too far down. Does it hurt inserting? Not anymore. The first time, yes, because 1, I was using this fucking thing, and 2, I had never done it before. Now, I just wet it a little bit, slides in. Like slides in. Okay? It's crazy. Does it ever make your cramps worse? It does for me sometimes. That's interesting. No, I have read that tampons actually make your cramps worse because of the chemicals that are in your tampon. I've never experienced that unless it is inserted the wrong way, or again, it's opened too far down. You need to make sure that it's all the way in so that it's not adding any pressure to your vagina. Do you sleep with one? Yes, every single night that I'm on my period. Do you ever forget you have it in? All the time. I do forget that I have it in sometimes, and I'm like, oh shit, I have to change out my menstrual cup. I've kept it in a long time that I don't want to disclose because I don't want to encourage, you know, no longer than 1 day. Somebody said, is it possible for it to get stuck up there? How do you get it out? It seems so scary. That's the first thing that I googled when I first tried this shit out. Anatomically, it's impossible. There's always a way to get it out. What I do to get it out is take this little guy and I go inside and I go like that. I go all the way in and I make air because the cup is usually suctioned, and then I just squeeze it all the way through, make sure there's airflow in there, and then it usually bends to this, and at this point there's blood coming out of the cup, but it's okay because you're on the toilet and the blood goes in the toilet. we just take it all the way out like this, and at this point it is all the way bent. Sometimes though it comes out completely full still, and then boom, and then you just pour it out. This is the last question that I'm going to answer, but this is one that my friend sent in, Alan, and I think that is a really good question that I need to answer. Using real world figures, how much money have you saved using this? Let's say I bought the Diva Cup first thing. It is $37.49 at Target. Let's just say we are buying the tampons that we usually buy, the Tampax Radiant Duo Pack, and that comes with 20 regular, 18 super, and I would probably go through 2/3 of a box each period. That's every single month. So say we're buying a box every month, okay? And that's $9.29 a month. Let's see, we've used the menstrual cup for 1 year. $40 1 year for the menstrual cup. $114 minus $40 for the menstrual cup. I've saved $74. And I will continue to save money because I'm continuing to use this, which was again $40, and I'm not spending that $10 every single month for a new box of tampons. I do want to also Google how much waste do periods produce. According to the new book Flow, The Cultural History of Menstruation, the average woman throws away 250 to 300 pounds of pads, plugs, which are tampons, and applicators in her lifetime. Pounds. 300 pounds of these things. Knowing all these opinions along with statistics, I hope that's enough to sway the people that I have not swayed into trying out the menstrual cup. Learn from my mistakes and invest your money into the actual Diva Cup.
Did you know that she has to use this cup during this period and then reuse it in the next period?
Did you know that's the whole point, Srishti?
Just give me a penis.
I started getting my period, I think, in around the 8th grade.
And I remember being really excited for it.
I was late compared to some other girls in my class, and I was very self-conscious about it.
And I still get excited every time I get my period naturally because I have PCOD, and it's really exciting to know that I'm at least on the track of being healthier.
I actually, blessedly, have a very chill period.
My standard cycle is actually 7 days, but 4 of the days are intense.
No cramps, only 3 days, light bleeding.
I don't get cramps, but I do have a very heavy flow.
Typically, I've used pads. That's just what's introduced to us. I think when everyone gets their period, they are given a pad and taught how to use one. Especially in India, where people are squeamish about virginity. Early 20s, I started using tampons.
I've never really used anything apart from pads and tampons.
I haven't tried cloth pads, reusable chuddy things, cups, nothing.
But now I can't help but think about how many pads I must have used in the 12 years, because I do realize that I'm pretty fortunate to be able to afford these products, and I really wanted to see how it would be to make this healthy switch to something that's not only pocket friendly but also environment friendly.
I wanted to try menstrual cups for a very, very long time.
So for my next cycle, I will be switching on to cloth pads.
So I bought my cups from an Indian company called Boond Cup.
So it arrived from the internet, and then I had this tiny cup in my hand, which was much smaller than I imagined. So, having been daunted by the prospect of putting like a giant cup, it wasn't. It's a small cup.
So the first thing I did was go online and search for cloth pads. They came in so many different patterns and colors, and yeah, I'm genuinely quite excited to just, bleed all over them.
Hi, I'm Rega's menstrual cup. I'm about to be inside her vagina.
Once there's a cup in my hand and there's blood coming out of me, how to pair these two occurrences with one another. Did a lot of research, and then I just got to it. So I'm reading the instructions. The first thing I'm supposed to do is boil it in water. A lot of people had said online, it's best if you practice before your period starts. I was like, it all, I'm brave, I'm ready, and just did a little squat in a private part of my home and just became really good friends with my vagina. Oh my god, it's so far inside. Oh my god, is it open?
I can't tell if it's open and I can't tell if it will ever come out again.
It wasn't difficult to figure out how the cloth pads worked if you used a disposable pad. The only difference was in the mechanics of it. Here, the wings had a little clip on it, so you could secure your pad onto your underwear. I was pretty confident I know how to work this.
I was f***ing shocked. It was so easy.
I think I did it right. When I tried to pull it out, it was frozen there by suction, which is supposed to happen, and which made it really hard to pull out. So I'm a little nervous that this cup will be inside of me forever now, or that this video will end with like me in a hospital and a doctor like slicing my vagina open to get this cup out.
My initial reaction after wearing the cloth pad, I was pleasantly surprised. I just wore the pad. It feels great. I thought it's going to be a little bulky, like I'm wearing a diaper, but no, it feels pretty normal. I was just very excited for the fact that now my vagina is going to be able to breathe through all the cloth. I was like, yes, I need this. I've been waiting for this. But I was wrong. You think at this point it's sort of like secure? Yeah, but honestly it's not because it slides down. I was gonna bleed for the next 7 days and I had to use these cloth pads that were not staying where they were supposed to stay. I'm really trying hard to like this product, but it's not working out.
I'm on my way to work. My cup is in. I'm not wearing a pad or anything else as backup. I'm trusting the cup. And you know what? I feel really, really good about it.
All through that first day, every time I went to go pee, I expected like at least a spot, like one hint that blood is coming out of me.
So it's been 12 hours. I'm about to change it and still no leak. Clean chuddies, clean white chuddies during my period. It's magic. I'm Harry Potter. Wizardry is in my chuddies right now, guys.
Through the day, there was nothing. It like worked extremely effectively. It was quite painless.
Every time I went to pee, I would pull them down and I would notice that the pad would just rotate. Like it was angry at me and it didn't want to look at my face. So it would just like look the other way. And that just didn't make any sense.
Waking up in the morning, knowing you have your period, putting this thing in, and then cancelling your period for 12 hours. You just don't have to deal with it again till the end of the day when you have to take the thing out. Unlike pads and tampons where every time you go pee, you're like, oh yeah, I'm bleeding also.
So on my second day of period, I decided to wear a white dress. And we were working not from our office, but from an outside space where there would be other people around. And my only aim for that day was that I do not want to leak. I don't want to ruin my white dress. And I'm going to make Deeksha my period stain buddy. So basically she's gonna tell me if I stain my beautiful white dress.
Just because the TV ad told you that periods ke din mein white pehen sakte hain, you wore white with a cloth pad.
At the end of the day, I do remember sitting there at one space. So I've been sitting in the same spot for like almost 3 hours now. I could still feel it move every time I'd get up, which was still an annoying factor. And to add on top of this inconvenience was the fact that you need to wash them. So I scrubbed it pretty hard and there's still a stain on it. And you can see that the fabric is coming out. Because the rest of the experience was so bad, the idea of washing them was making me even more irritated.
I'm still just mind blown by how effective this experience is.
So all the advice was about how the cup is going to be really high inside and it'll be hard to reach it. So what I'm supposed to do is empty this out and then wash it up, wash myself up, and then it's about to be bedtime. So I will try to put it back in.
What I then got to do was have a lot of conversations about, what do we know about our vaginas?
I just discovered that Srishti doesn't know which hole we pee from.
Shook right now because I thought that with a cup inside you would pee and then it'll be like a fountain. I've just been informed that there's another hole.
Srishti and all the ladies watching who are also shook, your homework is to go look at your vagina.
If the education minister is watching this, please can we have some sex education in schools?
Again, I've discovered something that Srishti didn't know that was really basic.
Did you know that she has to use this cup during this period and then reuse it in the next period?
Did you know that's the whole point, Srishti?
Just give me a penis.
It's not only with my colleagues and friends, but also with strangers on the internet. So I just posted on Instagram that I'm using this menstrual cup for a video and also in life. And someone sent me a DM of a great point that I wanted to include. You know, to be able to use this product, you do need the privilege of a bathroom that affords you full privacy and clean water in that bathroom. And those are both privileges that a lot of women in India don't have.
My day generally starts with me going to the gym and then going to work. And by the end of the day, the pads would be quite full. But there was a slight logistical problem. The problem is that I just went to pee and I needed to change into another pad. But I just realized that I have only 3 pads and 2 of them are stupidly drying at home because they take so long to dry. Of course, I can go ahead and buy more of those. Because I was going through such a bad experience, I just felt like not only do these cloth pads not want to be my friend, there weren't enough of them to support me in case I needed a friend. It wasn't a great time, guys.
Pads and tampons are designed to make it look like we bleed a lot, so we change them all the time, so we give our money. But as it turns out, we don't really bleed that much, and I'm so grateful to this cup for telling me that.
I honestly used the 3 cloth pads for 1 cycle. I guess they did do their job, the blood wouldn't seep out through the cloth pad, but they moved around enough for my underwear to have blood on them. They did make me aware of the fact that I was on my period all the time. They were difficult to wash in terms of the stains didn't really come off that easily. They were difficult to dry, just very difficult to deal with.
It's the cheapest. The cup can be used for 10 years. So it's the cheapest, it's the most comfortable, it's also good for the world, which doesn't hurt.
With your hormones already going crazy during your period, I don't think you need this added stress in your life that is just going to make you more angry and frustrated and feel like I hate being on my period. I guess there's a reason why women moved on from using cloth as means of soaking up blood. So I definitely wouldn't recommend this to anybody.
I will use a menstrual cup for every single period I have between now and menopause. Not only that, I'm also telling everyone I know to use it.
Go ahead and try something. If not cloth pads, definitely go ahead and try menstrual cups, try period panties. There are a lot more things out there that are being made. You might have a better experience than me. I really hope you have a better experience than me.
And having such an incredible experience made me realize that I've been deprived of all the information about my period. And so have, I think, most girls and women. So I feel a little cheated by society, which is a really standard feeling if you're a woman in the world, which is like, why am I getting such a bad deal? I think if we talked as a society, if we talked more honestly and freely and openly about women's bodies and about how to make women's experiences as convenient as possible, then I would have had a much easier last decade of perioding.